Hey, Aquas, welcome to Vivid Vibration. My name is Christina. Thank you so much for joining me. I am just getting started, so please, please, please give me a like, share, and subscribe. It would greatly help my goal and be very much appreciated. Okay, Aquas. You have the box, the sustainer, the riddle, the vision, the creator, and the thread. Um, Aquas. I feel like there's an idea of like not totally understanding why you keep finding yourself in these very confining situations. The box is the idea that, like every time you get out of a situation, you find yourself in the same situation, but this time it's more confining than it was the last time, right? It kind of plays into the idea of cyclical learning and cyclical understanding. We have to like play something out over and over again until we understand it from all the different perspectives. And I feel like that's relevant here. And just this, like, why is it that every time I try to, approach a subject, approach a topic, approach a person, approach like a goal, why is it that every time I do that, it just feels like I'm like further away from what it was that I was trying to do in the first place? For a lot of my aquas, it could be that it's a creative project that you're working on that you just feel like, I feel very drawn to this. I know what it is that I want to do. I feel connected to it because it's what makes me happy. It ignites this fire in me, like it makes me it it it's something that I actually want to do, right? I mean, aquas. I and I feel like this isn't exclusive to my aquas, but it is like a thing for aquas to really like. If you don't give a fuck, then you're not going to bother yourself with trying to take care of something, right? And I feel like in your reads, there's just been this like call into question of like, do you really care? And if you don't really care, congratulations for you. Enjoy that for yourself, right? And it's just kind of like this idea of like, okay, but if I do give a fuck, if I do want to sustain something, how do I do that? How do I want to say, practice the longevity to really see something into fruition, right? Because if you only half interested, if you only kind of maybe, like I care enough but not enough to really care. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of this idea like not enough to really sustain anything, not enough to really invest myself in it, not enough to like practice consideration or empathy or whatever, like however that plays out for you. And you can be on either side of the story, Aquas. Take what resonates and leave the rest. But it's just this idea of like how do I get to where it is that I want to be? How do I sustain, my motivation, and my creativity to really go towards what I feel connected to without finding myself more confined than I was before? Because really, the frustration that I feel is this like I can't do like every time I try to do this, it's it's harder. I feel like I have less access to what I need. I have, fewer people on my side. I have less resources. I mean, I just feel like it's this like and then this question of how in the hell am I supposed to sustain a dream that I have if I can't sustain a connection? And I feel like there's this idea of like I want to say going back to the drawing board and thinking outside of the box. Because if you try to create the same scenario in the same situation, it's just going to keep getting worse. So, what you have to do is go back to the drawing board and figure out a way to connect yourself to your dreams and your visions and create a sustainable way in which you can do that. Stop trying the same approach over and over and over again. It's not working. I say that with frustration. I don't say that in frustration with you. I say that in frustration that you're feeling. Like it's just this like, ugh, like that's how I feel right now. Limited and frustrated. of Swords. What else can we get for my August? I'd say I hope y'all are doing well. It feels like you're very frustrated right now, so I'm not sure how well you're doing, but I hope that outside of your frustration, everything else is good. Okay. Whew. The Ten of Swords, the Eight of Swords, the Lovers, and the Wheel of Fortune. I mean, Aquas, I feel like there's this idea of illumination that you're experiencing. I mean, the Ten of Swords is this like fullness of understanding. Like, I totally understand why this isn't working. But an element of like really having to face your fears. Awkward. The Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so I don't know where this like point of transition is coming in for you all because I feel like it'll be different for all of my aquas. But it's this idea of like, okay, so you've been caught in this, you've been feeling frustrated, but somehow your luck changed, and the issue became obvious. Now I know why I keep getting stuck in these situations. Now I have to face my fears to go towards what I love. And I feel like part of your fear is whether or not you'll be able to create something that you can sustain. We also have the Three of Wands. This is a card that kind of discusses the idea of a trip. It could be, an element of just getting away and reconfiguring and regrouping, and just kind of like tapping into like those creative, out of the box ways of thinking, so that you can really go towards what it is that you love. Because I think what it is that you love is also what it is that you fear, right? I mean, oftentimes people won't go for what they love because they're afraid of failing, right? And it's just kind of like, how many of those motivational TED Talk type of stories have we encountered where it's just like, if you're too afraid to go for what you want, then you're never going to get it. And that's guaranteed failure. And I feel like Aquas, you're in a place where you're just kind of having to face the idea of guaranteed failure or possible success. Eight of Pentacles, Four of Cups, Six of Wands, and the Magician. I mean, again, this is this idea of like, have I worked hard enough on myself to really create what it is that I want? To sustain a vision that I want to say you've just avoided. There's just this idea of avoidance. If I don't try, it doesn't matter. I won't fail. Yeah, it's very true. If you don't try, you won't fail. The Queen of Pentacles is, I love the queens in this deck because they're always, like taste of it if you dare, Aquas. And I feel like there's an idea here of like their success that's like you're like, I can see this success. I want this success. But I am also simultaneously afraid of this success. And that's just the energy that you're in. Ace of Swords, Three of Pentacles, and Knave of Wands. Yeah, I mean, because honestly, I mean, it's a new truth. But I think that this revelation, this understanding that kind of allows you to, break out of this confusion of why you keep getting stuck in the same situation over and over again, offers you the opportunity to really have a new understanding that enables you to really go for what you want. The Three of Pentacles in this deck is as above, so below. And I feel like there's this idea of like, have you worked on yourself? Have you addressed your own issues? Have you done all of these things? And if you have, then you shouldn't be afraid, because what is for you will be for you if you are willing to work on who you are for that project, for that person, for that whatever. It's just kind of like how invested are you really into breaking out of the box? Okay, Aquas. Well, let's do one more card and we'll call it a read. The ring. The ring is this idea of like never ending and never beginning. And I feel like the answer to that question is like I I don't know how to not be committed. That's why I keep coming back and finding myself stuck in these smaller spots, because I can't let it go. I can't let it go. Well, Aquas, if you can't let it go, like there's a saying, but like if there's something that you're meant to do, it'll tug at you until you do it. And I feel like Aquas, there's just kind of this idea of like something that you want to do, that you are like, you feel called to do it, but you just haven't done it because you're afraid that it won't work. You're afraid of, like, of not being able to really, like sustain these goals or these dreams or these creative endeavors that you have for yourself. And yet, like, you can't not go for it, because if you didn't, it's almost like this idea of like a hole. I feel like there's a void, and the void that you keep trying to fill with all these other things, but every time you try to fill it with these other things, you just feel more empty than you did before. And it's like until you're really willing to address what that hole is, um, it doesn't matter what you fill the void with, it'll still be empty. It'll just devour whatever it was that you tried to use as a replacement. Okay, well, Aquas, I hope this resonates with you. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I am doing personal reads. If you're interested in booking a personal read with me, please click the link in the bio below. If this is where we part ways, please give me a like, share, and subscribe, and I hope to see you again soon. Thanks.